Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to the crowd that's gathered for our first ever virtual event. You're all virtually here, and that's wonderful. This is the kind of event we're going to be probably doing more of. And you know, certainly this particular event is very special for the museum. The museum, of course, has been here for approximately 40 years. Add another 40 years onto that, and that's how long number 12 Service Fling Training School started, 80 years ago today. They had their grand opening in the Brandon Sun, and it was scheduled for 3 o'clock this afternoon. The weather might have improved by that point. It's unfortunate that we have a cloudy day today, but back 80 years ago, this site was a modern, quite amazing facility. When they reported its grand opening, it had many features that were quite modern and very appropriate for the times. And certainly the Service Fling Training School in Brandon was a big deal for the city, and it certainly meant a lot of people from all over the world coming to our community. So we're really excited by the fact that we can celebrate this and actually have people in the museum. Certainly it's been very quiet in the museum over the last 2 months. So this is exciting for us because it also signifies the first day that we can be open to the general public. Now we're quite honored to have His Worship Mayor Rick Crest here. He's going to come up next and bring some greetings from the city of Brandon. Mayor Rick?
Pop this off now that we're physically apart appropriately, and I am double vaxxed as well, as I think lots of people are. So great honor and privilege and certainly pleasure for me to be here on behalf of Brandon City Council and certainly all of the residents of Brandon, and if I can use a little bit of license on behalf of many municipalities throughout our region that would have had a hand in the Commonwealth Air Training Plan Museum back in the day and continuing on. So it is certainly a very, very big honor that the city of Brandon is the host community of if not the only, one of the only remaining active vestiges of the Commonwealth Air Training Plan throughout our country and really throughout the Commonwealth. And here now celebrating 80th anniversary of the establishment of what was called number 12 Service Center here as part of this very significant, very major, and I think as Sir Winston Churchill called it, you know, Canada's largest contribution to the war effort. And certainly those of us that have had some involvement or maybe have been a frequent patron of the museum, it's certainly well known the impacts of this training plan had, and of course it didn't hurt that it was memorialized in a little more dramatic fashion by the movie For the Moment, which was mostly shot here in Brandon, and certainly we gave a young fella named Russell Crowe his start, and apparently he went on to great fame and fortune in the Hollywood, and you know, kind of partially started right here in Brandon, although I think before that in Australia. The city of Brandon is you know, extremely privileged to host the museum and to have watched it grow and flourish. And not everybody knows this, but as a very young man, at the age of 21, I had the job of being general manager of the Brandon Chamber of Commerce. And I think actually I was working for the Chamber for a number of months before had that opportunity, and I was asked to attend on behalf of the Chamber an organizational meeting for the potential of an air museum, in the notion that Mr. Agnew had a small, modest collection of aircraft, and it was getting to the point in his life that it was time that he saw these put in the hands of a proper museum and something that was going to amount to something. And so I have the privilege of having been at probably one of the formative meetings of what has become the Commonwealth Air Training Plan Museum, and therefore I've literally been able to watch it come together over this roughly 40 years. So it does make sense. I'm 62 years old now, and I was 21 at the time. So that's 41 years ago that this all started to happen. And to see the magnitude, the quality, the prominence that this facility and all of its archives have really become as not just a national treasure, but an international treasure. And I think many people in the audience, or those that are watching on the video, will know of international visitors. There was I'm forgetting, Stephen will have to correct me on this, he was either a high commissioner, a trade commissioner, or ambassador from New Zealand to Canada, who made the trek to Brandon, paid me a visit at at City Hall, and I thought, wow, this is quite an honor. He makes this trek all the way to visit the mayor of Brandon. Well, not really. He actually made the trek because his relatives had been in the Commonwealth Air Training Plan Museum from New Zealand, and he wanted to visit this place while he was in Canada and honor his own ancestors, if you will. So I would like to, on behalf of the City of Brandon and all the residents of our great city, congratulate the Board of Directors and management and staff of the Commonwealth Air Training Plan Museum, all of the volunteers, because we well know that this does not happen without hours and hours and hours of tireless labor that goes into the restoration and the maintenance of all of this. So to John McNary as president and all of your team, Stephen as executive director, and the entire team, congratulations on commemorating the 80th anniversary of the establishment of this particular installation of the Commonwealth Air Training Plan. And we certainly extend tremendous wishes for many decades ahead of having preserved this very important part of our history. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor Rick. You're quite right. It was the High Commissioner of New Zealand, and it was a very touching visit. He was certainly very overwhelmed when he was at our memorial, and it certainly did speak to him, because of course it was part of his history, even as far away as New Zealand. So we don't just touch local people in Brandon. We're reaching out and touching people all over the world, and that's not something that most museums can boast. So certainly it's a wonderful part of the story that we do tell. I'd like to bring up John McNary, president of the museum, to say a few words. John.
Thank you, Stephen. Rick and Stephen have probably said most of what needs to be said. I wasn't at the inaugural meeting like Rick was, but I was well aware the museum was happening at that time, but I was busy starting a family and building a house and all those things, and watched it from a while, and then realized that if we didn't step up, the veterans couldn't continue, and our generation needed to step up. And I'm thankful to say that many have. And for me, there's a lot of work been done, but there's a lot of pleasure in being a volunteer here. It's an enjoyable thing. But I'd like to talk to Rick in person here, if Rick would step up. The relationship we've had with the city of Brandon is a really good one. The city actually owns the site and they own the buildings. The things that we have done are leasehold improvements to it, so we're a team. And I'm really looking forward to that continuing to grow and the museum develop and become a truly first-class, world standard museum. And I'm sure we can do that together, the city and us, and we're going to do our best to make that happen. Anyway, as a token of that and a token of our relationship, one of our members, Nick, who's hiding out there somewhere, Nick has found an original Service Fling Training School crest, and he had a bunch of them duplicated. And I forget, it's a limited number. This is a special crest. But Mr. Crest, Mayor of Brandon, we'd like to give you a crest. So that's for you.
This means a lot, and I'm really kind of without words, which is not too frequent for me, as many of you will know. So thank you very much, John, and Nick, and the whole organization. We'll have this proudly displayed in the mayor's office.
All righty.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks very much, John. Well, thank you everyone for coming out to a virtual event. This event certainly will now be uploaded to our website and to our social media, so it'll be there for you, for all to see. And as things improve and we have the opportunity to invite more public to the museum, we certainly hope that we can continue to do the work of telling the story of the British Commonwealth Air Training Plan. And like John said, we are so grateful to the City of Brandon for their support and for allowing us to tell this story and working with us so that we can tell it even better. So thank you again for everyone coming out, and enjoy the rest of the day. It's cool now, so enjoy it while it lasts. Thanks very much.